turning now to Ghislaine Maxwell, there, of course, was a big pause in any potential vote on the Epstein files in the United States Congress. Some 54 days they stayed out of session, including refusing to swear in a new Democratic member of the House because she would have signed a discharge petition to force a vote on said Epstein files. Adelita Grijalva, she has now officially traveled here to Washington, D.C. to be sworn in and will probably be signing this petition very shortly. Here's what she had to say.
So it looks like I'm going to get sworn in this week. After 7 weeks of waiting, I almost can't believe it's true. I am really upset that one of the first votes that I will take is on a bill that does nothing for affordable health care for the American people. And I also have to say that we have to do something to make sure that one person can't silence the voices of 813,000 people. This can never happen again to another member-elect that is waiting in the wings because someone doesn't want to do their job or because they're playing politics.
So that was Adelita Grijalva. She won that special election. Mike Johnson and crew decided not to swear her in, again, largely because of the Epstein situation. And at the very same time, we're getting some very, very troubling details from a whistleblower inside of the federal prison system. Let's go and put this up here on the screen. This is from the Jeffrey Epstein case regarding Ghislaine Maxwell and her current club-fed treatment. Now, according to a whistleblower who has approached the United States Congress, they are saying that Maxwell has received what was described as, quote, concierge-style treatment at the minimum security prison camp she was transferred to, including customized meals, permission to go to exercise after hours, time to play with a puppy that was being trained by an inmate to become a service dog, among other things. So you could see that is a little bit interesting. The whistleblower, by the way, also claims that a top official at the prison camp complained he is, quote, sick of having to be Maxwell's bitch. Well, I mean,
fair. Fair.
It's objectively crazy. You're running a federal prison camp. Most of the inmates are fraudsters,
white-collar criminals.
They're white-collar criminals. You're not even allowed in this prison if you're a sex offender, like Ghislaine Maxwell. If you're a murderer or whatever, there's something called a point system. I was doing some research in the federal prison system. Like, you need a very, very low number of like points, like violent crime and all that. It usually keeps you out of places like a federal prison camp. Pedophiles and all that, they're not allowed in there either. It's a very specific type of inmate. It's kind of a cushy place. That's why it is what it is. And they have a lot of like leeway. There's not as many guards. A lot of them, they can smuggle food in or whatever. Like, people kind of look the other way. So when Ghislaine shows up here, these guys are not, first of all, it's a type of inmate who's not even supposed to be there. But then second, there's obviously pressure from somewhere about her treatment inside of this prison camp. So if a top prison official is saying, I'm tired of being her bitch, somebody is telling him, you have to be her bitch. Who is that person? Is it in the DOJ, at the Bureau of Prisons? All of this. By the way, I mean, the Bureau of Prisons, are we all going to forget, was the entity which oversaw the suicide, released the video, if you want to call it that, of the evidence, again, if you want to call it, who covered up and did the investigation, of the so-called suicide, of which there's a million holes to run through. So this stuff just stinks. I mean, the entire thing stinks.
I mean, we know it comes from Trump.
Yeah,
like, there's no mystery around it. We know she knows stuff he doesn't want out. She has all this power and leverage. Ever since she started getting her cushy treatment, guess what? The least the Wall Street Journal and everywhere else stopped. She got her prison transfer. She gets to hang out with her puppy. Another thing that they said here that was noteworthy is she gets to have more access with visitors who have computers so that she can have, outside electronic communications. Again, something that is completely barred and banned for any of the other inmates who committed much lesser crimes than she committed. So, it's insane.
No,
I mean, it's totally obvious what's going on here. She has dirt on Trump or on his friends or all of the above that he doesn't want to be made public. And so, in effect, not only is this prison official her bitch, but Trump is her bitch. He's doing her bidding and getting her the special treatment. That's what's happening here. And oh, by the way, she's also putting in her application for her sentence to be commuted. And Trump has been going on a pardon spree. pardoned all these fake electors, part of the January 6th Stop the Steal bullshit, just pardoned them. I saw someone else, the husband of this Republican representative, just gotten pardoned this morning for some sort of healthcare fraud that he committed, by the way, as we're talking about healthcare. And so she's on the list for potential pardon or commutation. And every time he gets asked about it, he won't deny it. He won't rule it out whatsoever. So I think everyone should expect that that is a very likely outcome, especially when you see the details of the special treatment, the cushy concierge-style treatment that she's receiving at this Club Fed.
I don't think you can draw another conclusion at this point. It's like it just has to be some very high-level people in the White House who are telling them this is the way that it all has to be treated. I mean, how else can you explain, all of the changes in policy and the prison movement and now the top prison officials saying that she's treating me like her bitch? It's crazy. The commutation, I still, as corrupt as I believe things are, and as crazy as things are, the fact, if he commuted her sentence, I have no, can you even imagine? The break, no,
yes,
because
I can imagine.
No, I mean the reaction. I'm not saying he wouldn't do it. I'm saying the reaction to that. It would confirm every.
But the reaction from
wild,
who? Because MAGA has mostly shut up about this at this point.
Yeah, but even that would be. I mean, I would hope it's a bridge too far. I did say that a lot of these people are sycophants and all of that, but would we really all just sit here and allow something like that to go? I don't think so. But look, I could be wrong. I do want to say I want to give a major shout out to Ryan Grimm, who story after story from Ryan and from Maz over at Dropsite is just confirming beyond my wildest dreams when I laid out all of the Israel connections with Epstein. If I had this stuff, I would have been less careful in my language and been 100%. I'm willing to just say it out loud. Let's put his story up here on the screen. Here he had a blog. You guys broke this down on the Friday show, but Epstein helped Israel sell the surveillance state to Cote d'Ivoire, an African nation. And some of the allegations inside of the story are absolutely wild. They talk about his relationship with Ehud Barak, about the sale of his military technology, about the daughter of this leader and how she herself was ensnared kind of within his scheme. This is just one of the latest Epstein stories that they've dropped. They dropped previously one that also involved Africa, Israeli intelligence. He's got a new one actually out just this morning.
I have
go
it
ahead.
pulled up. Israeli spy stayed for weeks at a time at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. Leaked emails show Epstein working on a wire transfer to Ehud Barak's top aide, Yoni Koren, who regularly stayed at his mansion. I'll read you the lead of this. So this is, again, Ryan and Maz. An Israeli military intelligence officer stayed at Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan apartment on at least 3 occasions, including once in February 2013, while working as a senior aide to then Israeli Minister of Defense, Ehud Barak. Yoni Koren made his intelligence career working in covert operations alongside the Mossad, remained a lieutenant colonel in reserve duty after he officially left the intelligence directorate. He stayed in Epstein's apartment again for 2 weeks in October 2014 and a third time for 10 more days in September 2015. Dropsite compiled evidence of these stays from schedules released by the House Oversight Committee last month and Barak's hacked emails. On all 3 trips, Koren appeared to be conducting official or unofficial business. A Times of Israel article from late January 2013, a few weeks before Koren's first documented stay, identifies him as still actively serving as the bureau chief for the Israeli Ministry of Defense that month. And it goes on from there. But yeah, TLDR, this guy, Israeli military intelligence officer, high-level senior aide to the then defense minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, staying at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion on the Upper East Side for 2 weeks at a time, 10 days, 2 weeks, while he's conducting business. I mean, it's confirmed. It's confirmed.
Yeah.
He was an intelligent asset for Israel. Period. Done, dusted, we know now. And the other wild thing that we always bring up, and I think really bears mentioning, is Ryan and Maz, they're just going through things that have been publicly released now, either from the House Oversight Committee or mostly from these hacked emails. This is all available to any news outlet who cares to look through them and do the reporting, and none of them do. None of them care to go through the emails. None of them want to put this sort of information out in the public domain. And that is wild. That is incredibly revealing in and of itself.
Again, I wish I had this 6 months ago when I was really like on a tour of it, because like this is actually what I needed, like the actual statecraft stuff behind the scenes of the nitty gritty on how you are a very useful person. One of the things also that always annoyed me is the assumption, you know, when we talked about intelligence asset, was that they're being run by Israel or run by CIA. It's not like that. The point is that he had a blackmail scheme or what, who knows what exactly what he was doing behind the scenes, but he had access to a lot of sketchy money circles. That was very convenient for huge numbers of intelligence agencies, power brokers, etc., with a lot of these Israeli public officials, and he used his influence behind the scenes here, obviously to benefit the state of Israel, 4 separate times documented that Ryan and Maz have now shown us. I mean, what else do you want? How else would you describe that relationship, right? We don't need anything else here.
Straining the language and definitions to say that it's not what it is.
It's open, it's shut. If this was any other person, if he just neutral said, here are 4 separate instances where he acted and used his private influence to benefit a foreign state, how would you describe that person who also was involved with like this trafficking ring and was also an extremely high net worth individual under extremely suspicious circumstances? Come on, all right? I mean, it's like a movie character. It would be so obvious to any neutral observer. But yeah, I mean, this is where the mainstream press stuff and MAGA, I mean, they pretended to care. Nobody's caring anymore.
Yeah,
they got
nothing. Are doing this digging.
Nobody retweets. Nobody covers it. It all just is out in the open. Obviously, it's great.
Where's the free press at?
Yeah. Well, they're interviewing Mossad. You remember that? Remember when she interviewed Mossad? Barry, and she was like, so was Epstein ever Mossad? And he was like, no, of course not, Barry. It's
closed.
like, it would never happen. You're like, oh, okay, I'll take your word for it, I guess.
Closed. I'm enjoying the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro, going after Trump on the Epstein front. And by the way, we just murdered some more random, people out in the ocean. 2 more boats were blown up, claimed to be drug traffickers.
This time. At least not,
Pacific?
Yeah,
it was
at
not
least
the
not
Caribbean?
Venezuela. Yeah, at least
anyway,
not. It's no longer in the Venezuela thing. It has died down very recently. Kind of an interesting internal thing. I think the election had something to do with it, but I also kind of believe that some of the pushback that we were providing in terms of the intel and just how bullshit the case was
made a difference.
It somehow, I really do think it actually made a difference at some level.
But in any case, I'm appreciating the Colombian president taking Trump to task for his Epstein ties. He said recently, a clan of pedophiles wants to destroy our democracy to keep Epstein's list from coming out. They send warships to kill fishermen and threaten our neighbor with invasion for their oil. They want to turn the region into another Libya full of slaves.
Yeah.
So the Epstein,
as I have explained,
pedophile
Mr. Petro
mess has gone global.
Petro is desperate to get sanctioned because he's actually not that popular, and he wants the Lula treatment. He wants Trump to sanction him so that he can become very popular and his leftist coalition can prevail in Colombia. So that's mostly what explains. I mean, it is funny. You can't get me wrong. He's trying to say the most outrageous shit about Trump because he's desperately seeking some sanctions from the U.S. State Department, who, by the way, the State Department is aware of this. Rubio doesn't want him to get reelected, and so his advice to the president has been, sir, you just gotta have to shut up and take it. And knowing Trump,
we'll see if
it's not gonna work.
We'll see if that lasts.
So that's a little inside baseball for everybody here on the show. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.